I'm pleased to be joined by Ms. Lisa Campbell, President of the Canadian Space Agency. Lisa, to start things off, from your perspective, how do you see the state of space in 2022?
Well, it's wonderful to be here and great to see you as well. It's a really exciting time to be in the space program. We've been making tremendous advances in science and technology. Industry is trailblazing with new space and commercial activities, and governments continue to be anchor clients with significant mission opportunities. I expect activities in 2022 to continue on this track. It's important to keep in mind we're in an unpredictable situation with the evolving nature of the pandemic. And although the space sector has been very resilient, there are obviously human and supply chain impacts. We're hopeful 2022 will bring a more predictable operating environment. Overall, global space is experiencing exponential growth. The number of space actors and the demand for space services is expected to grow faster than ever before. And I'm sure you've heard the forecast that the global space economy is expected to reach over 1 trillion by 2040. This means that space will contribute even more towards gross domestic product and that we'll see more high quality jobs in key STEM areas around the world. New markets will emerge along with growing economic opportunities that will push the boundaries of what space technology currently offers.
And as you look ahead, what do you think might be the biggest challenges facing the operating environment that will require really the most of your attention and resources to address?
The space sector is changing rapidly and we need to adapt quickly. For instance, there are more players in space than ever. This has been phenomenal for increasing and diversifying opportunities in the space sector. Investments in digitization during the pandemic have also made work arrangements more flexible, and space organizations are competing for talent. That's why we're so focused on creating a strong culture where the well-being of people at the Canadian Space Agency is our top priority. Ensuring they're well supported, motivated, and happy is paramount to ensuring our success. Our brilliant team who innovate and accomplish extraordinary missions are central to Canada's space program. Another area making waves is the growing number of small companies and startups entering the space market. These organizations are full of energy and ambition, and their innovations are sought after around the world. So we're leveraging our infrastructure, our scientific data, and our expertise to support this momentum. All to say, these challenges are really more opportunities for us to adapt and take things to the next level. We want to continue to make Canada a great place to work and conduct business in the space sector and export to the world more of what Canada has to offer.
So last year saw a number of high-profile events that drew a lot of public attention to space. But I was wondering, what do you feel is the one issue or condition that is not getting the public attention it deserves?
How space science and technologies help us here on Earth. An example of this is the tremendous utility satellite Earth observation. It's increasingly fundamental to our daily lives and also to our future. We're increasingly reliant on space technologies for climate action, precision agriculture, maritime surveillance, and more. More than ever, we need the perspective of space to help solve important challenges on Earth like climate change. From space, we can see the big picture of our land, waters, and atmosphere and how they interact and change over time. Space data supports cutting-edge science here on Earth. It helps us understand how our planet works. We're raising the profile of satellite Earth observation, and on January 20th, we announced our Canadian strategy for satellite Earth observation. Our strategy outlines how Canada will take full advantage of the unique vantage point of space to address challenges of our time and frames our work in this domain for the next decade.
In the space industry, we find that everything is done with partners, and I'd be curious who you feel the key stakeholder or partner that your organization needs to achieve success next year.
That's a great question, Steve. We're part of a vibrant space ecosystem in Canada and globally. Scientists, companies, international counterparts. The reality is we need to work with all of our partners in order to achieve our goals. We need scientists to make breakthroughs in their fields. We need industry to take technologies to the next level and commercialize it. We need international partners to advance common priorities and missions, and the broader international space community to come together on rules of engagement in space. We all have a part to play, and it's the people within these organizations that matter. Space is complex and expensive. With more players in space now than ever before, it's important for us to collaborate and not duplicate. We also need to work together to ensure that space remains safe and sustainable for the long term. Advancing efforts like those in the United Nations to implement sustainability guidelines and reduce space threats through norms, rules, and principles of responsible behavior are paramount. It's also important that our industry and scientific communities build relationships with one another on an international scale. I'm currently Vice President of Agency Relations and Global Membership at the International Astronautical Federation. Part of my goal is to bring more diversity into the IAF so that we can welcome new players into the global space community, build new partnerships, and leverage one another's expertise for the greater good of humanity.
And finally, a number of things coming up over the next several months. What is the one mission or event that you and your organization are most looking forward to?
There's so much to look forward to this year. With the rest of the world, we're pretty excited about seeing the first images and data from the James Webb Space Telescope. It's the most complex and powerful space telescope ever built, which is an outstanding accomplishment. Canada is so proud to be part of it. The first data that we receive will be a special moment worldwide because it's a symbol of how far we've come and a sign of all the exciting discoveries that are ahead of us. My colleagues and I are equally excited about the Artemis One mission because it means that the next phase of space exploration is upon us. This will set the stage for the Artemis 2 mission, which will include a Canadian astronaut, and that'll be a very important moment in Canada's space history.
Well, great. Well, we thank you again for your time today and your contribution to our State of Space segments. Any final comments that you would like to offer before we conclude here?
It's wonderful to be here, and I look forward when we can see one another in person soon.
Absolutely. Thanks again.